Welcome to the new AP Biology podcast for Chapter 13, Meiosis and Sexual Life Cycles. These two sections are basically an introduction to meiosis, which is a type of cell division that forms gametes. Let's begin. Somatic cells are all the cells of the body except the gametes and their precursors. Each somatic cell has 46 chromosomes made up of two sets. Somatic cells are diploid, meaning that they contain two sets of chromosomes, one inherited from each parent. Here you can see some examples of somatic cells, which include neurons, skin cells, heart cells, red blood cells, and muscle cells. Humans have 23 pairs of chromosomes in their somatic cells. The two chromosomes in each pair are called homologous chromosomes or homologs. Chromosomes in a homologous pair are the same length and carry genes controlling the same inherited characteristics. Diploid cells. Diploid cells are cells with just two complete sets of chromosomes. Usually, one set comes from one parent, and the other set comes from a second parent as a result of fertilization. Diploid cells are usually referred to as a 2N. This is a clipart image of what a diploid cell would look like. The advantage of being diploid is that harmful genes can be masked if they are recessive. The disadvantage is that with more chromosomes to manage, there is an increased likelihood that something will go wrong. Here you can see the whole cycle of the diploid cells. You can see it begins with the two parents, and soon the fertilization process begins. Haploid cells. Haploid cells are with just one complete set of chromosomes and are referred to as a simple N. Haploid life cycle. The organism, a fungus in this example, is a haploid until it's time to reproduce. Then cells hyphae, fuse, or fertilize. Meiosis takes place almost immediately to restore the haploid condition. Most fungi that reproduce sexually have haploid life cycle. The advantage is that there is less DNA to manage. Diploid versus haploid. As you can see, the 2N versus the N. And you can see that the diploid cell has two sets of chromosomes, while the haploid has one. Homologous pairs. As you can see, these fruits are all identical, which is why we make the allusion to homologous pairs. Homologous pairs are the two chromosomes in each pair. These two chromosomes have the same length, centromere position, and staining pattern. As you can see this clip art image, these are two homologous pairs. Fertilization is a union of gametes, sperm and ovum, culminating in fusion of their nuclei. It restores the diploid condition, forming a zygote. The diploid zygote develops into an adult as a result of mitotic cell division. The following video thoroughly explains the process of fertilization from both the perspective of the sperm and the egg. In this video, you can follow the sperm all the way to the ovum, where it fertilizes the egg. If you get lost, don't hesitate to pause the video and rewind.
Fertilization is the epic story of a single sperm facing incredible odds to unite with an egg and form a new human life. It is the story of all of us. During sexual intercourse, about 300 million sperm enter the vagina. Soon afterward, millions of them will either flow out of the vagina or die in its acidic environment. However, many survive because of the protective elements provided in the fluid surrounding them. Now, only a few thousand remain. Inside the fallopian tube, tiny cilia push the egg toward the uterus. To continue, the sperm must surge against this motion to reach the egg. Some sperm get trapped in the cilia and die. At long last, the sperm reach the egg. Only a few dozen of the original 300 million sperm remain.
As you may have noticed, you were the winner from the 300 million sperm cells that all tried to reach the ovum but failed. Successfully, you did.
The egg is covered with a layer of cells called the corona radiata. The sperm must push through this layer to reach the outer layer of the egg, the zona pellucida. When sperm reach the zona pellucida, they attach to specialized sperm receptors on the surface, which triggers their acrosomes to release digestive enzymes, enabling the sperm to burrow into the layer. Now, only a few thousand remain. Inside the fallopian tube, tiny cilia push the egg toward the uterus. To continue, the sperm must surge against this motion to reach the egg. Some sperm get trapped in the cilia and die. During this part of the journey, chemicals in the reproductive tract cause the membranes covering the heads of the sperm to change. As a result, the sperm become hyperactive, swimming harder and faster toward their destination. At long last, the sperm reach the egg. Only a few dozen of the original 300 million sperm remain. The egg is covered with a layer of cells called the corona radiata. The sperm must push through this layer to reach the outer layer of the egg, the zona pellucida. When sperm reach the zona pellucida, they attach to specialized sperm receptors on the surface, which triggers their acrosomes to release digestive enzymes, enabling the sperm to burrow into the layer. Inside the zona pellucida is a narrow, fluid-filled space just outside the egg cell membrane. The first sperm to make contact will fertilize the egg. After a perilous journey and against incredible odds, a single sperm attaches to the egg cell membrane. Within a few minutes, their outer membranes fuse and the egg pulls the sperm inside. This event causes changes in the egg membrane that prevent other sperm from attaching to it. Next, the egg releases chemicals that push other sperm away from the egg and create an impenetrable fertilization membrane. As the reaction spreads outward, the zona pellucida hardens, trapping any sperm unlucky enough to be caught inside. Outside the egg, sperm are no longer able to attach to the zona pellucida. Meanwhile, inside the egg, the tightly packed male genetic material spreads out. A new membrane forms around the genetic material, creating the male pronucleus. Inside, the genetic material reforms into 23 chromosomes. The female genetic material, awakened by the fusion of the sperm with the egg, finishes dividing, resulting in the female pronucleus, which also contains 23 chromosomes. As the male and female pronuclei form, spiderweb-like threads, called microtubules, pull them toward each other. The two sets of chromosomes join together, completing the process of fertilization. At this moment, a unique genetic code arises, instantly determining gender, hair color, eye color, and hundreds of other characteristics. This new single cell, the zygote, is the beginning of a new human being. And now the cilia in the fallopian tube gently sweep the zygote toward the uterus, where he or she will implant in the rich uterine lining, growing and maturing for the next 9 months until ready for birth.
As you can see in this image, we can spot the sperm, this tiny tadpole-looking like organisms, trying to reach the ovum. As you can see, you can follow the progress down to the uterus. Zygote. Zygote is a resulting fertilized egg that contains 2 haploid sets of chromosomes, bearing genes representing the maternal and paternal family lines. This is a microscopic view of the zygote. In this image, you can see the whole process of meiosis and fertilization in the human body. he can compare between the haploid cells in the process and the diploid cells.